Alright, so throughout this course, I will be using tyFlow Pro. I think a lot of people are confused about what tyFlow Free really means. tyFlow Free is an incredible, amazing deal because you're getting the entire software with all of the operators and all of the modifiers. So everything here will work for you, even in tyFlow Free. There are only three main differences. There's no multi-threading, meaning it will only use one core on your processor. There's no GPU acceleration. We don't really need that for this course because we're not doing any CUDA cloth or any CUDA particle binds. And then there's no tycache export. So throughout this course, you will see me export stuff into tycache. And then occasionally I will say, okay, we're gonna render just the glass on a separate render pass. Whenever you hear me say that, you're gonna have a bunch of mesh operators in your scene. And if I just want to render glass, I'm simply gonna turn off the mesh operator for the metal and the plastic, and it's only gonna render glass. And then when I say, okay, now we're gonna render just the metal and smoke, so I'll just turn off glass and enable just the metal. That's really what you have to do since you can't export it into tycache. You have to just run the simulation and leave it live, just enabled in your viewport like this, and render everything while the simulation is active. If you close 3ds Max and you open 3ds Max again, you'll have to re-simulate the simulation because there's no way for you to really save it. That is if you're using tyFlow Free. Now the other option for you if you don't have tyFlow Pro is to use tyFlow Beta. And here it is. Are there any other license options available besides tyFlow Free and Pro? And Tyson, because he's amazing, actually gives you the link here to the last available tyFlow Beta version. So the beta version of tyFlow supports multi-threading, it supports GPU acceleration, and it supports tycache, but it's only available for 3ds Max 2022 and lower. So if you are on Max 23, you're out of luck. However, if you are on Max 22 and lower, you can install tyFlow Beta and you can follow this entire course. The only difference that I think you're gonna run into is with the physics shape operator, which has the sticky starting penetrations. So throughout the course, you will see me set the physics shape operator to sticky starting penetrations. If you are on tyFlow Beta or tyFlow Free, just set this to ignore starting penetrations. And really for the kind of simulations that we're doing, there should be no visible difference between sticky or ignore starting penetrations for this course. So you should be good. I can't guarantee it because again, I've made this entire course on tyFlow Pro. Currently, I'm on version 1.11. If you are watching this in the future, just be aware that some of the functionality might have changed, of course, as tyFlow gets updated. I do my best to keep up and update the project files if they get broken with a new version, but be aware that, of course, things might change. Now, as far as the multi-threading goes, I can tell you that there's no simulation in this course that's super heavy. Everything from me simulates under 3 minutes that's in this course. So even if you are using tyFlow Free, it might take a little bit longer since it's not gonna use all of your processor cores, but it's still very, very doable. And from what I've seen and read online from people who are on tyFlow Free, everybody says that it's still really, really fast, even without multi-threading. You can follow this entire course on tyFlow Pro and tyFlow Free and tyFlow Beta. There is just the main limitation for you on tyFlow Free is the tycache. So you will just simply have to keep the simulations active in your viewport like this and don't close them and just render everything out before you close Max. So I hope that all of that is clear. I will not be mentioning this again throughout the course. So when we go into the sections where I export tycache, I will leave it up to you to do what I'm showing you here and simply say, okay, Jesse said we're only gonna render glass. So simply just leave the mesh operator active just for the glass and render just that. There's nothing particularly complicated that we're gonna do where this shouldn't work. So I really hope that you're gonna be fine. And let's get started.